Call the May Commissioners meeting to order, please. This time I turn it over to Vice Chair Sue Lee.
Thank you. Commissioner Letha Lee will have our invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you today, asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord, as we make decisions that will affect the citizens of Sampson County. And continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Would y'all rise and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Okay. This time, is any questions on the agenda, any changes or additions?
I think we wanted to reverse item 7 ahead of item number 6.
Okay, exactly. All right, we'll do that. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda with amendment.
Okay, second. I got a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you. That's approved. All right, we have a nice crowd tonight. I'd like to welcome everybody for coming. This time, I'd like to remind everyone this is Public Service Recognition Week. And with that said, I think we see a lot standing around the corners here of our fire captains all over the county. And we certainly appreciate what they do and the time they put in and the effort. Thank you very much. Let's give them a hand. All right, this time we have an employee recognition. I'd like to call Ms. Jean Coe up front, please. Ms. Coe is the Project and Communications Specialist and Public Information Officer, and she recently completed a municipal and county administration course at UNC School of Government. This comprehensive application-based program takes place over 8 months to complete, and major subject areas include local government law, organization and management, finance and budgeting, public employment law, planning and regulation development, and municipal and county services. Ms. Coe spent several weeks at the UNC School of Government and seamlessly completed her regular duties while working away from the office and attended seminars and lectures. So on behalf of the Board of Commissioners and the county staff, it's my honor to recognize Ms. Coe and her dedication and outstanding performance in this program. Okay, next on our list is the North Carolina DOT update. Mr. Jones, glad to have you.
Good evening. I'd like to thank y'all for the opportunity to come and provide the updates for NCDOT, and do appreciate in my short time that I have been here, the working relationships that we have already started, and can look forward to continuing to nurture those. On behalf of the department and the active resurfacing projects that we have underway, we've got one active right now. It's 95% complete within the county. There was approximately 27 miles that consisted of contract resurfacing and pavement preservation. And our estimated completion date is within the next couple of weeks. The only thing that we have lacking is some pavement markings on some routes. We completed the work on NC 24 out at the intersection of 701. Completed some work on Warsaw Road, US 701, and NC 242 in Roseboro are our primary routes. And then there was various secondary routes that we had addressed. We got one contract that it's not active yet, but the anticipated start date is mid-June. In that contract, we will be paving NC 50 and Sutton Town Road from the Duplin County line to the Wayne County line. We will be paving King Road, Lipson Street, and East and West Morrissey. And that contract totals of 15.3 miles that we will be resurfacing. We do have an active pavement preservation district and our my office administers contracts for Duplin and Sampson County. So this is a District 2 contract where we have completed the crack sealing operations and are going to begin chip sealing. That work began this morning in Duplin County, and as soon as they're completed in Duplin County, they'll come to Sampson County and complete that. As far as our bridge construction and replacements, we've got an active bridge replacement on Wrights Bridge Road. It's Bridge 72 over the Great Cahary Creek. It's 40% complete. They are working on setting the slabs, the concrete slabs. They've done most of the bent work. We've got an active bridge contract on US 701, which is Bridge 22 over the Black River. They have cleared and got their erosion control measures in and are building fill. So they're only about 5% complete and working on the on-site detour approaches there. In the future, we've got Bridge 188, which is on Bradshaw Road. The forecasted or planned let date would be in June of 2024 of this year. And then we've also got another resurfacing contract that will be the latter part of this this month, and that will we normally let 2 a year, and that will be the first one of this year. So and that'll total for approximately 15.3 miles. And with that being said, that's all my updates I have for the construction office, but I do want to take the opportunity to introduce our new Sampson County maintenance engineer for the department. Last meeting we were here, and Keith Jackson was the former county maintenance engineer, and he has since then moved on, but we are very fortunate to have Mr. Lance Eason serve in that role, and he will do great. We have the utmost respect for him and confidence in him, and he can provide the updates for the maintenance department. So,
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the kind words from Daniel and reiterate some of the same things. I'm looking forward to getting to know y'all and working with y'all and making the county a better place. That's everybody's goal, and that's my goal too. So, name's Lance Eason. Not been with DOT as long as most people y'all have probably seen up here, but I'm gonna work hard to do the best job I know how to. And it goes without being said, but if y'all need me, please reach out and please let Sampson Maintenance know how we can help. That's our goal. So a few updates there is from our roadside department. The first cycle of mowing in the county is complete. The mowing contractors are supposed to start back May 13th, and that'll begin the second cycle. And as y'all were probably aware, litter sweep occurred throughout April. You know, a lot of DOT was involved in that, and we need to do better. We're working to get litter off the roads, but I'll try and have some better statistics for you next time as far as DOT as a whole in the county. But just Sampson Maintenance, our forces picked up 52.89 miles of roads. We picked up 385 trash bags and picked up litter on 701, 24, and some various secondary routes. To provide an update, as we get ready to end our fiscal year, last year, our routine maintenance improvement plan, our shoulder cutting and our ditching, we completed 256 miles. And next year, we have planned to complete 347.75 miles. So hopefully, see our contractors, see our forces out in the county making a difference there. And getting ready for the next fiscal year, we're working on turning in some resurfacing and preservation packages. And last update I have is we had a posting go up today, our entry-level position for maintenance transportation worker 1. If anybody in the county is interested, it's a good opportunity to begin a career with the department. So that's all I have at this time. And I again, appreciate the opportunity. Any questions from y'all?
Does anyone have questions? I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate the update. All right, this time I'll call Victoria Jackson with Trillium Health. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening. First of all, thank you for allowing me a few minutes to give you a brief update on Trillium Health Resources. I'm Victoria Jackson. I'm the South Central Regional Vice President for your county. And I also served as one of East Point's executive team members. So I am grateful for the opportunity to continue to serve Sampson County. We'll go through this presentation, very high level. Please feel free to ask me any questions that you may have. So first, I want to start out by talking about some of the Medicaid legislative changes. Some of you may be familiar with the tailored plan. It's been discussed for a couple of years now. The launch of the tailored plan within the state was one of the priorities of North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. Over the past 2 years, there has been a delay because the original date was to start July 1st, 2022. As part of the push to move forward with tailored plans, the North Carolina General Assembly directed the Secretary of North Carolina DHS to consolidate LME MCOs. So one of the things that was written in general legislation was to move 6 LME MCOs to either 4 or 5. And so over the past year, that's what occurred. We're now down to 4 LME MCOs within the state of North Carolina. The other thing that was written in legislation was that we must have a minimum population threshold of 1.5 million, and gave the secretary also the authority to make changes to the LME MCO structure. So the secretary opted to reduce LME MCOs to 4, directing the consolidation of East Point and Sand Hills. So once East Point and Sand Hills consolidated, technically, and East Point was the surviving entity, the secretary then said, we want East Point and Trillium to consolidate. So 3 entities, Sand Hills, East Point, and Trillium. And Trillium was named as the surviving entity. The whole goal, or one of the goals for this consolidation, was to make it easier for beneficiaries to gain access to health care and to also ensure that the tailored plan goes live. We did receive official notification from North Carolina DHHS that the tailored plan will go live July 1st of this year. Day to day, things change, but as of now, we are scheduled to go live on July 1st, 2024. On your next slide, let's talk about the consolidation. I had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Causey earlier this year, and so some of this information may be duplicative to you, but thank you for the opportunity to sit before you. As you see here, the timeline for the consolidation, the Secretary Cody Kinsley, he directed us to consolidate on November 1st, 2023. The operations of the consolidation between East Point and Trillium was to occur January 1st, 2024, and it did. And it was kind of in stages. So members and providers did not come aboard with the consolidation until February 1st, 2024. So we had 45 days to consolidate technically 3 entities. And a consolidation of that magnitude was a heavy lift. 45 days, I've never seen a consolidation occur so quickly. We had to onboard approximately 1,200 providers onto the Trillium system and approximately bring over 800 employees from Sand Hills and East Point. That was a focal point or a focus area because our main focus was to ensure that folks in Sampson County and all the other counties that we're serving did not have uninterrupted care. So that was most important for us. Just to share with you a little bit about Trillium and how we're set up regionally. With the consolidation, Trillium went from 28 counties to 46 counties. So added an additional 18 counties to the region. To the catchment area, my apologies. We have a total of 5 regions. As you can see on the map, we have the Mid-State region, the Southern region, the North Central region, and the Northern region, and then the South Central region. The South Central region houses Sampson County. It expands from Sampson County all the way to Carteret County. So there's a total of 9 counties. Within the regions, or each region, we have a dedicated regional vice president to work the counties, make sure that there's a local presence there. We also have a regional advisory board for each region as well. And do want to thank you all for appointing Mr. J.W. Simmons and Ms. Lynn Fields to the regional advisory board. They have been wonderful, and we're grateful for their service. We recognized and understand very early on that local presence is important as it fosters direct engagement within our community. We stand on that. We want to be in the community. We want to get to know folks and key stakeholders in the community and the people that we're serving. So please also note that we have a dedicated regional consumer and family advisory committee as well. Each region has, so you may hear the term CFAC. So each region have a CFAC. Their role is to advise us on the needs in the communities around behavioral health, substance use, intellectual developmental disabilities, and those individuals that have traumatic brain injuries as well. On our next slide, I mentioned to you that we're a 46 county catchment area. The total population that we cover is a little over 3.1 million. Within that 3.1 million, we have 51,000 members that are tailored plan. We have 163,000 who are in the Medicaid Direct program, and then 287,000 who are uninsured. Did want to bring some statistics to you guys. Please give us a little grace as we're consolidating. We're trying to consolidate the systems, which means that we're pulling in all of the data as well from the 3 entities. So just wanted to give you kind of a brief high-level view of some of the statistics, and then next year we should be able to give you some more detail around the stats. So for fiscal year 22-23, Trillium served 43,571 unique individuals with severe behavioral health needs. Now, Sampson County is not included in this number because at the time, Trillium wasn't serving Sampson County. So this is for their 2028 catchment area for fiscal year 22-23. A little over 32,000 had a mental health diagnosis, 12,526 had a substance use diagnosis, 7,456 had an intellectual developmental disability diagnosis. And the total spent on services was over $653 million. And that's for a total of 28 counties. The next slide, we did want to provide some data for Sampson County, and this is the legacy East Point data. We pulled it from East Point System. So for fiscal year 2022 through 2023, East Point paid out a total of over 15 million claims for services in Sampson County. And so that's just for Sampson County. And we served 1,192 members. And of that 1,192, 968 had Medicaid as a payer source, and then 224 had state services as the funding. To talk with you a little bit about tailored plan, there's no way that we can cover tailored plan in a few minutes. It is complex. Tailored plan, when we go live, will be managing the whole person care, which means that we will manage behavioral health, physical health, pharmacy benefits, as well as non-emergency medical transportation, and we will also have some value-added services that will be included as well. Statewide, tailored plans are projected to serve 180,000 Medicaid-eligible members at launch, with 51,000 of those being Trillium Health Resources members. It's important to note that DHHS stewardship of state's behavioral health system is accomplished through shared implementation with a number of organizations. Many people think that the LME MCO is the entity that covers all of individuals that have Medicaid for behavioral health. That's not the case. In July 1 of 2022, the state moved the majority of our members that we were serving to standard plans, those private companies. So as you can see on the slide, we have AmeriHealth, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare of North Carolina, WellCare of North Carolina, Carolina Complete Health, and Carolina Complete Health covers regions 3, 4, and 5, and for the standard plan, Sampson County sits in region 5. Their goal or their charge is to serve individuals that have mild to moderate behavioral health needs. So LME MCOs serve individuals with severe needs, and the standard plans serve individuals with mild to moderate needs. So they hold the majority of the populations. I want to give you some information around projects and trainings that Trillium is currently doing and will continue to do. This is just a snippet, so wanted to call your attention to the naloxone kits. There has been a number of Narcan distributions that has occurred, even fentanyl strips as well. And so we distribute those items to places like the EMS department, the health department, and local police departments as well. Mental health first aid is a training. It is a very good training. So anyone that has not received mental health first aid training, I would encourage you all to attend that. There's a version for youth, and then there's a version for adults, and it's a free training offered to the general public. The goal of the training is to certify individuals on and teach courses to people so that they can potentially recognize a behavioral health crisis or a behavioral health need. And once they recognize it, then it also teaches them how to get the appropriate person involved for treatment. So referring them to a professional for treatment. The CIT training is for our community and law enforcement. During that training, topics such as Mental Health 101, trauma, intellectual and developmental disabilities, stigma, and many more topics are taught during CIT training. So that's another really great training to leverage as well. We have summits listed on here. I mean, that's self-explanatory. We do a number of summits across the catchment area and also working to bring those summits to the newer counties that's joined on as well. Value-based purchasing, that's a newer term to North Carolina. We have received guidance from the state to move more towards value-based purchasing. That's working with the providers not to just pay for a service, but pay for quality service. And so some of the arrangements could be pay for performance, where you'll see quality metrics around, for example, recidivism, reducing recidivisms in the hospital. So that we're moving towards. The state is pressing us to ensure that we move forward with the value-based purchasing. And then lastly on this slide is the reentry simulations training. It is free and open to the public. It is a really great training. During this training, individuals will learn about many barriers that folks go through when they're released from jail. Their experience with finding jobs, stable housing, going to treatment, and then also the difficulty around navigating the release rules as well. I do want to draw your attention to this next slide. You hear me say local presence throughout. We cannot stress the importance of making sure that we maintain local presence, that we're in the community providing education. One of our goals is to continue to build strong working relationships with local agencies such as the county departments, and also meeting with a variety of child, family, and adult stakeholder groups and events. On this slide here, you'll see Ms. Kentisha Jones. She is dedicated to Sampson County. She's the community liaison coordinator. Her role is to help educate. Also, she attends events, set up tables there with Trillium material, just pushing out the education as much as possible around what Trillium can offer. Most recently, she attended the Sampson County Schools Project Activate Wellness Fair. So that was one of her most recent events that she attended. And also, we have Terrell Alston. He is one of the directors of community engagement and empowerment. His role is to also be in the community. You will see him in Sampson County. He acts as a backup for the regional vice president. So you may see him in, if for some reason I'm unable to make a meeting, you may see him, or you may see both he and I at a meeting together. So he's wonderful. Both Katisha and Terrell worked previously for East Point, so they understand the legacy East Point catchment area. So I also want to share that we are doing a town hall for Sampson County. It's going to be June 4th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We work with the health department to host it there. We're grateful that they allowed us to host the town hall at the health department. So that town hall, our CEO will be there, Joy Futrell, and we may have some other executives to join the town hall, some more Trillium staff. The whole point is to gather what the needs are for Sampson County, listen to the county, and then also address any questions that the county may have, county stakeholders may have. Lastly, and I think the most important slide in this slide deck is we need to make sure that individuals can access care. And so on this slide, we have our member and recipient service line. It operates Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's dedicated to any of the Trillium members. Sampson County members can call to access services and to ask questions as needed. We also have a behavioral health crisis line that operates 24/7, 365 days, holidays, weekends, we're on, and that line is dedicated for individuals who may have a crisis, and we need to dispatch mobile crisis or assist them with a more emergency medical personnel connection. If you have time, in your spare time at your convenience, please check out our webpage and also our social media account. There is a ton of information that's been pushed out on those social media pages and websites. So I'm happy to address any questions you may have, or I'm happy to, if I don't know the answer, I'll take them back and be sure to get back to you guys.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Does anyone have any questions? Very good. Good. Thank you very much. We
Thank you.
appreciate the update.
Yes, sir.
Okay, at this time, Mr. Clack, you give us an update on the sale of the county property?
Yes. We opened the bids for this past time, and we had 7 bidders. All the bids were eligible. The highest of those bids was $50,000. And we have advertised the $50,000 with a new minimum bid of $52,550. We will open bids tomorrow at 2:00, and right now we know we've received 2 sealed bids
Okay,
for that opening.
all right, thank you for the update. Any questions? Board? Okay, hearing none. Thank you very much, Mr. Clack. All right, this time, Ms. Lance, if you'll come forward.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Board. Tonight I have 2 preliminary plans that were reviewed and approved by the Planning Board at the April 9th meeting. First, we have Delmore Acres Section 2's preliminary plan. This subdivision is proposing 12 single-family lots located on South River Road in Altraville. It is located in the residential agricultural zoning district. It will be served by, these lots will be served by individual well and septic systems and a 60-foot public right-of-way designated to meet NCDOT standards, designed to meet NCDOT standards, my apologies. There are no proposed parcels located in a flood zone nor in the 404 wetlands. Staff and Planning Board are recommending approval of the preliminary due to its compliance with the Sampson County subdivision ordinance.
Okay, any questions from the board? Get a motion to approve.
Approve the primary plan for the Delmore Acres Section 2 as recommended by the planning board.
The preliminary plan, second. All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. That's passed, it's unanimous.
Okay, our second one is Trinity Place preliminary plan. This is a 22 single-family lot subdivision located on Glover Road in Dunn. It is also located in the residential agricultural zoning district, will be served by county water and individual septic systems. A 50-foot public right-of-way designed to meet NCDOT standards is proposed. There are wetlands indicated on 5 of the proposed lots, one of those also being in a flood zone. The applicant has provided us a preliminary jurisdictional determination letter from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and it does indicate that 5.29 acres of the parcel is in their regulated jurisdiction. The applicant is required to coordinate with the Corps to obtain the proper permits on future construction and will be required to provide staff with those permits before their final plat approval. Staff and Planning Board are recommending approval of the preliminary due to its compliance with the Sampson County subdivision ordinance.
Okay, any questions?
I move that we approve the preliminary plan for Trinity Place as recommended by the Planning Board.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's approved unanimously.
Thank you.
Ms. Lynn.
Thank you very much.
Okay, at this time, we move on to Mr. Causey scheduling our budget presentation.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. As the board and people understand, we have to have a new budget in place by June 30th. In order to do that, you have to have a budget presentation, then you have to have a notice of hearing that is advertised for at least 10 days, and then you have to have a public hearing. In the last few years, and what we would like to do is have the public hearing on Monday, May 20th, which is at 6 PM in this room. I think we did it during the day last year, and I think we determined we'd like to do it when we would give the public the opportunity as easy as possible to participate. If you agree with that, then we would do the advertisement with the expectation that your public hearing will be on Monday, June 3rd. It is the board's prerogative, after the budget is presented, to have a budget meeting that night, if you like. Historically, what you've done is you've waited till the public hearing was held at the first meeting in June, and then scheduled your budget hearings as you see fit. If this is agreeable with you, then what we'll do is wait till the end of the meeting and recess this meeting to reconvene on Monday, May 20th at 6:00 PM. I will tell you for preparation for that, we have tried to accomplish the budget presentations in a half hour or less in previous years. I would encourage you to be prepared for at least an hour's presentation, Mr. McClam. That will be my goal, and if I get done in an hour and 15 minutes, I will be tickled. But we've got a lot of information to talk about and to present. And I think that will give you a lot of good background for whatever you may decide you want to do with a host of issues.
Okay, thank you. Does that date work for everyone?
June 3rd.
May the 20th,
May 20th.
6 PM?
Make it work.
Can I make the motion that we have the preliminary hearing that day, the preliminary presentation of the budget? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, it's the 20th. All right. Next is Newton Grove EMS building lease and transfer. Mr. Causey?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make the presentation and invite my illustrious attorney to offer additional comments as he sees fit and thinks will be helpful to you. But we've been working with Newton Grove and in Roseboro, but we'll talk about Roseboro subsequently. Relative to Newton Grove, as you know, the rescue squad dissolved there some time ago, and ultimately that building was given to the town of Newton Grove. And they would like for the county to continue providing the services that we provide and utilize that building. And so what I think we have provided you is we have provided you with a proposed lease that covers a 20-year period for the utilization of the building. In all fairness, the town has not given final approval, and that will occur, is it next Monday or next Tuesday, Joel? Whenever they meet, but they're gonna meet in about a week. And I think they're anxious to do this. This lease, the issue with the 20-year lease, the questions that came up that we'll resolve, and I think we're in agreement on the resolution, it's just how we go about it, is since it's a lease, we cannot insure the building, so we will pay for the insurance, but we'll have to be in the town's name. And then we will be contracting for improvements. And at some point, I think Joel will share with you that they will have to sign off on that lease in some matter of fashion, and we'll hold them harmless as much as possible. However, I do tell you that in preparing that lease or preparing improvements to the buildings, we're talking about $150,000, and Mr. McClam has participated in some of the discussions over the last year and work. So I would encourage you not to approve the lease unless you're willing to expend the $150,000 for the repairs on the building. And I think if we've got a 20-year period of time to utilize that, that's well within reason. We could not, I don't think we could replace that facility for less than $300,000-$400,000 more than likely. So in that sense, it is a good thing for us. So we would like for you to tentatively to approve the lease as well as the $150,000 for improvements.
Is it 150 at one time, or is that,
The construction cost of all of the
Okay.
improvements, which is going to consist of
I got you.
a system for fire improvements, ADA compatibility, firewall, and that kind of thing. Those improvements will be done over the course, I guess, of probably 4 months. And if there's anybody from Newton Grove here, raise your hand, the fire department. Those people have been very gracious in working with us to house our rescue, and we're very appreciative of what you've done in that regard. And thank you very much. And we're going to try to, if the board approves it, we're going to try to complete it and relocate our folks as soon as possible. Anything I need to add, Mr. Starling?
I think you've covered all the major points. It's 20-year lease term. The rent is the provision of EMS services. We wouldn't be paying any rent beyond that. We would be responsible for the cost of insurance. If the lease is terminated by the town, or if it's terminated for us because of a breach by the town, they have to repay a prorated amount of those renovation costs. I think those are the major points.
Okay. Any questions anyone have?
I just got one, just to kind of clarify something. I know there's two pieces of stuff that are there that could be sold. Are we gonna use those and sell them to offset some of this expense, or are we gonna put it somewhere else?
You're talking about the personal property?
And that we've attained, I mean, I know there's two vehicles and a camper there that can be something done with, so.
I think those are still titled in the name of the rescue
Okay.
corporation.
Oh,
So we don't, that's not our property.
That was the question. Thank you.
But as far as the town is concerned, we can resolve that ever how we can. If we have to move it or whatever, we'll take care of that.
Okay.
This is going to speed up our call time, response time, is that correct?
Yes, sir. If we don't do this, then we don't really have a location. I think it would be a unfair imposition for the fire department for us to expect them to provide services to us for rescue personnel 24/7 indefinitely, and I think it would behoove everybody.
So if we did,
And quite frankly, from my standpoint, we've completed Garland, and I think we've got a nice facility there. If we're providing rescue people on a 24-hour shift, it would behoove us to have as nice a facility for them during the time that they're resting and getting ready for calls as possible. Not to say anything about anything, but sometimes you got lots of people moving around. Sometimes it does, it affects my ability to sleep when there's lots of people, grandchildren milling around.
any other questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
I move we accept it as is, as it's been recorded from.
Second.
Got a second? Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Approved unanimously. Good deal.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Causey,
All right.
you're up again for Roseboro Rescue Lease.
Roseboro Rescue, we also have some parts to this, and we want to take our time and make sure everybody understands this. The Rescue at one time was providing multiple services. They gave up the extrication services some time ago, and then they have given up the service of operating on the highway as the normal nonprofits do. The one thing they have maintained or maintaining is the dive team that we fund a little bit last year. And in talking with them, they're actually willing to deed us that building. And this will require a little bit more work, and we're talking about $200,000 in this case to repair the building. But what they will be doing is you will be voting to accept the deed to the building. If we do it, we will be then proposing that we turn around and lease we're talking about giving the dive team lease-free space in that building as long as they maintain a current active status as a dive team, which I think is a good deal for them and a good deal for us. And we've got that included in the lease, that we will do that as long as they maintain an active status. The cost of repairs on this building will be $200,000. And again, that seems like a lot of money, but that is a much better price than I think if we were trying to build a facility to house our rescue people. And there's plenty of space there to accommodate both, and I think everybody's very agreeable to what we're talking about doing. We have not received their signed paperwork. However, they have not indicated anything. If there's a question that they have, it will be a very minor detail at this point in time. But again, we would not want to approve the transaction unless we were going to also approve the $200,000, Mr. Anything you'd like to add, Mr. Starling?
No, you have a dive and rescue services contract in front of you because that'll be different than their current services contract that they're providing. You've got a draft lease agreement. We'll have to bring that back at the June 3rd meeting. When we're the tenant, like we were in the last lease we approved, we don't have to give 30 days public notice. But if we're leasing county property, we've got to give 30 days notice, which we've given for the June 3rd meeting. So the lease agreement will have to come back. And at that time, it's our expectation that we'll, and hope that we'll have ownership of the building and be able to enter into that lease.
Okay. Any questions? So you need a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing,
Adopt the resolution approving the dive rescue and recovery services contract to authorize the county to accept the deed and spend the $200,000.
okay? Pleasure of the board.
Make a motion that we adopt the rescue and diving and with recovery of $200,000 to repair.
Okay? Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. All right, now, do we need to approve the motion to transfer the title? Or is all that's in that?
You voted to accept the deed. They're the ones who actually have to convey the property to us. And that will
Okay.
happen later.
All right, so there's nothing else needed
No, sir.
on our part?
No, sir.
All right. Takes care of that. All right, for board appointments, I turn it over to Vice Chair Lee.
Thank you. Effective July 1 of 2024, I move that we appoint Wally Bachelor, Dana Horn, and Wendy Dorman to serve on the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we have an opening on the library board, effective immediately, and I move that we appoint Jessica Martin to serve in this capacity. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? That concludes.
Okay, thank you. All right, the consent agenda, does anyone have any questions on that? Or concerns? If you're not, I accept the motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, so we pass the consent agenda. All right, Mr. Causey, that brings you up.
The main thing I want to talk with the board about is our attorney's position. As you know, Mr. Starling is terminating his contract with us as of June 30th. What I had sent you in an earlier email is because the amount of work that comes up in July, we would like to move as expeditious as possible. So we sent out an advertisement assuming that the board may decide to hire a full-time attorney. However, this is the opportunities. We told you that if you want to go another route and do something else, this is the time to make that decision, or we can proceed on. This is a two-part discussion. So if you decide to move on with the hiring of an attorney, the actual hiring of the attorney, Mr. McLam, comes directly from the board, where I hire many of the department heads. So anything that we would do would be to facilitate what the board wanted to do. And if you want us to help you, then I would suggest that Mrs. Dillman, Mr. Starling, and myself, and maybe one of the commissioners serve as the group to look at applications, to then decide which one or more may come back to the board for a full board interview, and I presume that would be in closed session at some point in time. But how we, if you decide to hire a full-time attorney, Mr. Chairman, how we proceed with it is the discretion of the board as to how you want to do. Staff stands ready to assist you in any way possible, but we don't want anybody to assume we're moving ahead of our responsibilities.
We need a motion at this time.
You need a motion as to whether you want to go with a full-time attorney or whether you want to do something different.
I think we need a full-time
I
attorney.
think we
Yeah,
need a
we
full.
do.
I mean, I'm being honest.
We do
This
need a
discussion we have,
full-time.
we need a full-time attorney.
Turns out to
It
be
makes our
full-time
job
anyway,
a lot easier.
That's right.
All right, I think.
So, I'll make the
You
motion.
make the motion?
Second.
We got a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, we're a full-time attorney.
All right, now the next process is how, does the board want to do all of the interviews, or would you like staff with the chairman to do the initial screening to bring one or more candidates back to the board for a full interview?
I like the idea of the staff, screening some
Yeah.
applicants and us jumping in at last. And I'll make that motion.
Okay, got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor? All
Very good.
right,
Thank you, sir. That concludes my remarks.
thank you very much. All right, we're down to the public comments section. Ms. Hunt, you're up.
Good evening. My name is Elaine F. Hunt. I reside at 7171 Old Warsaw Road, Turkey, North Carolina. And I've been coming before you for now over 2 years. Last month, we left a little more relieved because I felt like you did hear me when I've been speaking. But since last month up until this month, I haven't received any comments or a follow-up, and I've gotten in touch with some, but we want to know, we want to stay abreast of what's happening with the water on Old Warsaw Road. I had received a call and someone asked, and I wasn't for sure, did you all, and I know you can answer questions, but we're thinking you said Old Warsaw Road was next in line for county water.
Would you like me to address that in this case, since we've had lots of discussion?
Sure.
We have actually gone out and done the looking. We've actually sent in a request to Senator Jackson's office for special funding for that area. I don't remember the amount, but it was a section. So the request has gone in. Historically, what happens is, and this is how we've gotten a lot of the money, is through the senator's office and the representatives. What we can expect, we don't expect to hear anything before early July and maybe even the end of August. So it's going to be after the Senate and the House meet and get into their budget considerations, and they'll notify us as to what is coming out of that.
Mr. Causey, I even talked with Senator Jackson last year about this, so it's on his list.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm here tonight, to get an update. And I probably will return next month and next month and next month after until we have the end result of county water. And I appreciate what you're doing, but just look forward, if God allow, for me to come back next month to get another update. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. We look forward to seeing you. Ms. Carroll, Sandra Carroll?
Ms. Letha Lee, Mr. Godwin, Mr. Gerald Kivett, Miss Sue Lee, and Alan McClam, and the rest of you. Thank you. I just got something briefly I want to say. I want to thank you for still having prayer before you have your meetings, and thank you for saying the pledge to this flag. These are two freedoms we hope will never be taken away from us. Now, stay seated. I'm here just to thank you, not to complain about a thing. I'm an elected official. I can count on these fingers right here how many times somebody has thanked me. You work 24/7. And I don't care what anybody says, you work 24/7. We do too at the Board of Education. I just want to thank you for all you do. I want to thank you for what you've done for Sampson County Schools, and I also like to thank you for what you've done for Sampson Community College. And again, thank every one of you. And Joel Starling, we're going to miss you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll. You can come back anytime.
Anytime.
Apostle Mon?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm back. Well, mine may not be as gracious, but it's still in the same vein. I don't, I know what I want to say, but I gotta be tactful about this. I don't know if this elected board, as it currently sits, really understand the vein of what's really going on with its constituents. It's a shame people have to come and beg and plead every month for the same thing, and just to get an answer of saying you're on a list. So my thing is this, is that we, your constituents, have made things personal. You as a board, since I've been coming and being involved, you have taken things personally. There's a difference. The difference is this: when I make something personal, it's personal to me. It has affected me, such as buzzards eating people's roofs, such as dirty water, people on dialysis catching cancer, and so on and so forth. Me with my issue, and I'm not going to discuss it, but you know what it is. So when people bring things to you, they have made it personal because it has affected them. And in turn, when they bring those issues to you, you as a board has taken it personal. Therefore, now you have jumped in your feelings and in your flesh, and you oftentimes retaliate, or you become numb or callous or cold and do not do anything. Now, one thing I can do, as the young lady just left here, I do thank you for this. I do thank you as a board of bringing the citizens of Sampson County together, regardless of our social economical status, our ethnicity, our religious beliefs, our political affiliations, or what have you. You have successfully united us as one for a common goal, and that is to hold you all accountable, to hold you all to what you have said you would do, could do, should, and reinforcing the fact what you have said you would do. We, as your constituents, has voted you in. We expect results. If those results aren't do not come to fruition, as a democracy, we can and we will vote you out. And so don't take this personal. I've made it personal because there's things that have affected me. Others have made things personal because it has affected them. So do not take this personal. If you take it personal, you don't need to be serving in the capacity in which you're serving. So going forward, prayerfully, hopefully, the next board, sitting board, will be more astute as to what we as a constituents of Sampson County need. Y'all definitely have a blessed night. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, sir. Patrick Blanchard.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Blanchard. I'm the president of Mingo Grange. I have a few members behind me from the Grange in the crowd tonight. And we have voted on and approved the following resolution regarding the tax reevaluation. Whereas the state of North Carolina has mandated a new cycle of property reevaluation to every 4 years, whereas the county of Sampson has proposed its new property values to the citizenry, whereas the rates in many cases have nearly doubled, whereas the citizens will face an indirect increase in tax burden without the raising of the tax rate, whereas our taxes almost never go down and the quality of services to the townships never seems to truly improve. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mingo Grange, number one, let it be known that we, the members of the Mingo Grange, have a love for our homes and our rural way of life, that we have made choices and sacrifices to remain in the home of our grandfathers, and furthermore, wish to preserve our homes and hearths for future generations of our families. Number two, the Grange urges the Board of Commissioners to seriously consider the reduction of the tax rate to help offset the burden of rural property owners who no longer actively farm their ancestral lands, but in an effort to maintain these heirlooms, must rent out to produce funds for payment of said taxes and insurance. Number three, we urge the commissioners to seek ways to provide the basic infrastructure that is necessary for public health and safety, and at the same time cut from the budget all items that do not improve the situation of all citizens. Number 4, we urge the commissioners to work in harmony with the citizens of this county in order to find solutions to the issues we face, and in that regard, we offer whatever assistance we can provide to help make our home better. And lastly, number 5, we urge the commissioners to make hard decisions in order to help keep our farms and forests while remembering that the government that governs least governs best. People seek to move here to escape the urban and suburban landscapes that have become unbearable elsewhere, and we simply ask for an opportunity to maintain the rural and simple lifestyle we were taught to love. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. I agree. Chief Jackson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for the recognition a while ago. My name's Ken Jackson. I represent Sampson County Fire Association. I'm also the fire chief at Plainview Volunteer Fire Department. We know it's budget year. We all deal with this every year. With this budget year has come to valuations, and there has been some talk with the county manager between him and myself, and the possibility of cutting our fire taxes has been mentioned. Every guy standing on this wall tonight is a representative of every fire department in Sampson County. They're here tonight to request that you do not cut our fire tax. Every fire district in Sampson County tax is set up by the people in that district. It's not by us. It's voted on by them. It's carried to our board of directors, and then it's brought to you for okay. Some of us are at 10 cents. Some of us are at 7 cents. Some of us are 7.5. We can't take a tax. We can't cut our tax rate. We've worked hard to get it. I understand the valuation made a difference, but these tax rates, some of us have come before the Fire Commission for these tax rates in order to man our stations so that the folks in Sampson County will get adequate fire protection 24 hours a day. Volunteers do it at night. Those guys, the people we hire do it during the day. There's equipment needs. We still have departments that are struggling. If we cut their tax rate, we're going to end up right back in this process again, asking for that money back because we don't have an evaluation every year. So we're asking as an association for the commissioners, for the county manager, to come up with a plan not to cut our tax rate for this budget year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you.
All right, I'm not sure. I think it's Brenda McLaughlin. No. I give up. What's your name?
What's my name?
Bruce McLean.
Bruce McLean.
Uh,
I missed it.
Every one of you is new except Miss Lee. I know her. I'm a retired volunteer fire department employee. Worked over 20 years with the fire department. I now draw $170 a month from that. But the day of volunteer fire departments is over. We cannot maintain our status to have our homeowners have lower house insurance by not having all volunteer, because people work, you just can't do it. You're going to have to go part-time at least to have the response time that is satisfactory to the state to keep our homeowners low. If you ask in your district, each one of you, ask if they want to have, say ours, Taylor's Bridge is 10 cents. Ask the man, does he want to pay that same 10 cents on the increase to keep his house raised down? every one of them's gonna tell you yes. So you don't need to mess with that rate. You need to keep it the same because cost of fire department equipment in the 20 years I've been in there, most of it's doubled. Some of it's tripled. To get a fire truck now, $850,000. People don't even make that much, and it takes 3 years to get it. So you don't need to cut that 10%, 10 cent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McLam. All right, Chief Williams?
Chief Alan Williams, representing Taylor's Bridge Fire Department. I'm also the county fire chief. I echo what Chief Jackson said. That's why we're all here tonight. I'd asked Mr. Causey at a fire commission meeting why our proposed budget for this year, the revenue didn't increase but only 3%. He said, well, we'll just cut the fire tax to make it match. Well, since that time, the term revenue neutral, I believe that's the term we're using now, it will not work. You see all these volunteers standing around back here? There's less than 1% of the population of Sampson County serves as volunteer firefighter, less than 1%. If you didn't have the volunteer firefighters, it would cost this county somewhere between $13 and $19 million a year just in payroll. You'd have to hire 176 new county employees to do what we do, all of us, for free. We don't mind that. Taylor's Bridge responded to 6 calls Saturday afternoon. We come to a house fire in Clinton, left there, went to a woods fire over off Bass Lake Road, had 3 motor vehicle accidents that night, and provided a lift assist with EMS, all for free. All we're asking is leave the fire tax where it is. We came before you. It was approved by our township. They're in support of it. Our board of commissioners in support of it. There's a 33-year-old truck sitting right outside if you want to go look at it after the meeting. That truck runs from Halls to Ivanhoe. That is our first out mutual aid engine. It hauls 2 firefighters. We don't want to throw the truck away. We want to repurpose that truck. We want to move it down towards Delaware, maybe pick up part of Duplin County in the process to serve those citizens down there that are still outside of a district. But it's going to cost $850,000 to replace that truck and put a new one in there. We got a 0% interest loan, 10-year loan. We're just asking you to leave our fire tax alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief Williams. Alan Honeycutt. Okay, the next one is me. That concludes our public comment section. At this time, I'll take a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? You ready? We're in closed session. Session,
I make a motion, we come out of closed session.
second over
Second.
here, all in favor, raise your hand. All right, we're out of closed session, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
You recess to reconvene.
Recess to reconvene June,
May
May 20th, some month anyway. May 20th.
May 20th.
All right, you got a motion?
Yeah.
Got a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.